Hi, welcome to another episode of Culture Corner, where we sit down with some of the artists from Texas and see where their creative minds are taking them. I'm your host, Terry Fedez, and with me today is two members of the band of the Roses. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Serenity.
Okay.
I'm Josh.
Okay. And yeah, of the Roses, if you haven't met them or heard of their music, they're amazing. I had to write a little bit. I actually wrote a lot about them. So let me go ahead. I wrote down a little summary about who they are. Okay. Austin, Texas-based band of the Roses features a unique blend of power pop and alternative rock. Leading them are Serenity Autumn Hernandez-Bogart and Josh Della Rosa, as they provide singing, songwriting, and multi-instrument playing. And also included, they're not here in the band, but we'll give them a little shout out, are bass player Will Lord, keyboardist Ali Hicks, and drummer Alex Wilhelm Scream. Mm-hmm. You told me about that name, and I immediately thought of like Star Wars with the stormtroopers with the Wilhelm Scream.
Well, his last name is actually Wilhelm, and I'm like, you need a drummer name, and obviously it has to be Alex Wilhelm Scream. So
he needs to try to imitate the Scream.
Oh, I mean, we have a sampler that we play with. Maybe we'll get into this later, but we have a sample of the Wilhelm Scream that he can play during shows. We have not rehearsed it yet or used it yet, but that's
coming
in the
soon.
works.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I did, when I looked you guys up and doing more research on you and Josh, like you guys do multiple instruments, like you guys have like played like more than one instrument for Other Roses? Or?
Yeah, when we songwrite, we usually play everything.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
On stage, we just play guitar and sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know one of the things we're really going to talk about is your latest EP, which is Mirrors Always Round. And I've heard that song, and I mean the whole EP, and I think my favorite song, if I had to pick one, it was Friends. I think that one is mine because it was like when I heard it immediately, I thought it was funky. I don't know.
You.
And at the same time, like you could also bang your head to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so can you tell us a little bit about how, what was exactly the creative, thing when it came to the EP, like how Mirrors Always Round was created?
Yeah, a lot of those songs we wrote in about 2020, right?
Yeah.
Me and Josh were living together, and we wrote a lot of those songs around that time during the pandemic. And we were shut in, so we just played everything on the record. We had an electronic drum kit that we could play in our little bitty apartment and not wake up neighbors or dogs.
Yeah.
Mm.
And everything else we went direct in our little home studio. We wrote all those songs in 2020 and then recorded them early 2022.
Wow.
Yeah.
After playing them for maybe a year, right?
Yeah, we really honed in our craft and our music like through 2020, and really started finding other musicians or kind of branching out in
2021.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys did this when you were quarantined. That's really cool. I think other musicians did that too.
Oh yeah.
So that's really cool that you pretty much took that bad situation and decided to be creative.
Yeah, I think just inherently, I mean, when you're an artist, I mean, obviously we were going through it with, working full time and taking care of our family. Mm-hmm. But just, I mean, that's what we do. We're songwriters. So we're going to songwrite no matter what. If the world's burning,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we'll still be songwriting.
I mean, you could literally write about the world burning. Too,
Yeah.
So, yeah. And yeah, with this show, I should have mentioned in the beginning, but with this show, we try to focus on artists from San Antonio. But I know you two are, but I know you're mostly a band that, is based in Austin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Like, are the rest of the band members from Austin? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're from Austin.
And you guys create most of your music like over there and everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I know Austin could definitely be like a very creative place. I know that.
It's definitely, I think, a better hub for the kind of music that we make.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love San Antonio, but I don't feel there's enough spots here for like the kind of stuff that we do. Mm-hmm. I wish there were, but it seems to be growing, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are the songs on this EP? I know you mentioned it's like one of the very first songs that you've ever written together. Like, But are they similar to other songs you've written, like for other EP? I know there's 2 other songs, but they're not from this EP. They're from another one.
We have one. Well, we had a single release, really, is what it was. It was Love and War and Leave Me Alone, and those were more post-punky. And I think we wrote all these songs in around the same time. Those just happened to be the most complete, and we felt they went together really well. So we just threw that out as a single, and then worked on the other ones while we were finding a band to perform with. Because I think we released that first one in October 2020.
Yeah.
And obviously nothing was happening at that point.
Yeah.
So around that time, we put that out to have stuff online and find a band and that kind of thing. So,
it was 2020 when you wrote these songs, but do you think when you're writing songs now, whether it's like for future projects or anything, do you think the way you write the songs, or pretty much like maybe the lyrics, have they changed like after like 2-3 years, like since you wrote these songs?
Well, Josh has actually been songwriting longer than me, so I'd be interested to know how his songwriting and lyrics writing has changed since when he first started.
Yeah, I think that like throughout my life, songwriting, it sort of just comes to you, like there's a riff, or maybe you kind of just mess around and you like a certain part of something that you've kind of come up with, and you just write from there. But I think for me personally, lyrics has always been something that I've tried to work on, because usually it's the music first and the lyrics second. So making something make sense, I think, has been something that I've personally been able to. It's been easier.
You're very good at attaching lyrics that match the feeling of the song, though.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think that's the most important thing. I think me and Josh come from the David Byrne School of Lyricism, which is it's how things roll off the tongue more than what you're actually saying most of the time. Because we do come from like a more punk background, so not that lyrics don't matter, but I always focus on like enunciation and syllables first, rather than what does this line mean or say. Usually, I think a lot of songwriters work this way, where it's like you don't know the meaning of the song that you wrote. It won't come to you until like 3 years after you've been performing the song and it's already out and that kind of thing. You'll think, you know what, I was going through this particular time in my life, and that's what that song was about. Actually, I couldn't admit it to myself, but that's what that song was about.
There's a bit of songs are autobiographical just naturally, and I feel like people are just going to interpret the song with how they're going to interpret it. But yeah, so I guess we did come from that school of.
I mean, that's where I think.
Yeah,
that's what I think about.
I really like what you said about like how you don't know what it is like you're writing until like pretty much the end result. I actually had a similar conversation in my senior seminar class. Well, even though I'm not a songwriter, I have written stories, and sometimes you can write about something simple at first, about a little girl maybe opening a door, and then all of a sudden the end result is like this crazy adventure about being in space. And
well, I mean, like, we study news writing, right? So when I write a story, I never write the lead first. I don't know what the lead is going to be. I grab all the data that I've gathered, or the people I've talked to, or what the assignment is, write that, figure out what the meat is, and then think about, okay, what's the hook? You know? I think songwriting is that way, except the meat is the music and the riff and like how it makes you feel, rather than the other way around.
Yeah, for me, it's making something that's catchy, and that's like the first and foremost thing.
Right. Yeah.
And it's that whole like you just come up with like syllables, like the whole scrambled eggs and yesterday thing, where that's all you kind of have as a placeholder. So, I mean, everybody's gonna interpret it the way they're going to interpret it, and just
that's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a painting. It's audible. It's an audible painting.
Yeah.
So you interpret it the way you want to. That makes sense to you.
Yeah. So then, like, if you guys ever like wrote like a song, like a very bad breakup song, like you just came from a bad breakup and it led you to actually a dark place emotionally. I guess you could say like Every Breath You Take by the Police. But then like the people who listen to it, they're gonna interpret it as like this amazing love ballad. That would be okay with you guys. Everything.
I mean, the thing about art is once you put it out, it's not yours anymore.
No.
Oh.
It doesn't belong to you anymore.
No.
Like people are gonna attach that to, that time they were at the barbecue in 1972 and they were with their girlfriend hanging out eating a chili dog behind the shady tree or whatever that song says. But like, people
Yeah.
are gonna have their own. It's gonna mean something so deep to them that like whatever I was writing, it's not gonna. I don't think it'll mean as much to them as what they've attached themselves to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've always been very impressed with artists that can convey a message in little words, in a song. Like they can tell a story, but also make it catchy. Like for me, that's like brilliant. It's.
I think the only time I'd get mad is like a Helter Skelter situation.
Oh.
Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like I can't control that,
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'd be severely upset, but what can I do?
All you could do is just denounce, a loony that takes your song and thinks it's
Yeah.
about murder.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe take it as a compliment or something. I don't know.
I mean, that's all you can do.
Yeah,
I
at
guess.
that point, you're like.
That's all you can do.
So, I think another thing I like about your music is that no song sounds similar. Like they all have different sounds. So, like, why do you find it important to experiment, like, with your sound with each song?
I think first and foremost, that's just kind of inherently who we are as songwriters
Yeah.
and musicians. Me and Josh love. I mean, that's one thing we bonded over when we met was that we have such an eclectic yet specific taste in music, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just whatever comes to you, and you're going to be inspired by different things. Like, I don't think anybody really can just listen to the same band or the same genre. It's going to be different genres. And
Especially now in the age of streaming and everything is
absolutely,
accessible
you
at
can
any
have a
moment.
playlist of just different stuff,
It's just so tempting to like, oh, what's this? What's this?
Yeah.
What's this? And I'll go through phases personally, And I know
Absolutely.
Josh does too. He'll write a Motown-ish kind of song, and
Yeah.
then he'll write like an Oasis
So I'm
kind of
really
song.
into like Oasis, and then and then I'm into Motown, and then I'm into the Police, and then I'm into like Anderson .Paak, and it's
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits. Yeah, exactly.
I'm waiting for your Tom Waits
It's coming.
number.
It's coming.
I'm waiting for that one.
And I know, like, you guys like to keep your songs, or you like to listen to songs that are like really short. And
Yeah, Josh does.
Oh, Josh does.
I love that.
That's more a Josh thing.
Yeah.
But I like that about him because
Don't-
it's a challenge for me to like, okay, how can we keep this under 3 minutes?
Yeah, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
Well, that's how a lot of punk songs are too. They're very like pretty much like under like even 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's very much a punk thing. It's also very much a Motown and soul thing. A lot of those songs are 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like the horn hook, the chorus, a verse, horn hook, chorus, fade out.
Yeah.
I think the longest song I'll ever listen to is like probably 8 minutes. Like maybe. Like would you yourselves ever like play a song that
A song maybe, yeah.
like you would do a song that would probably be like 10 or so minutes?
Oh gosh, no. We'd have to be in our fish phase or something like
Oh.
Yeah.
which probably won't ever happen.
Sorry. Sorry, fish fans.
But no, I like because I mean I listen to albums, and sometimes when you have a good album, you can't really like all those songs belong together. Like I don't know, like Joy Division, the one record.
Yeah.
Like all those songs are they just mesh so well, but I don't know if I can name any of them. But they're all so good.
Yeah.
But it's like they
It's
all
also
kind
a
of blend
short
together.
album. It's like
It's really short. Well,
8
yeah.
or 10 songs.
Yeah,
Like that's a really short album.
and you can sit there and listen to that.
You just listen, but it makes
whole
you
thing.
it makes you want to listen to it again.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing too, where you feel like you just get a morsel of that song. It makes you want to listen to it again because you don't really feel as fulfilled yet.
Yeah.
So that makes people just want to listen to it.
Yeah,
again.
personally as an editor and a producer, it's like sometimes the two worlds collide because like if we need to cut something because something is being repeated, then we'll cut it. Even if we really like the little part that we wrote, it's
Yeah.
like no, this is not helping. This is not serving the song. It's not serving
Yeah.
the story. Just cut it. If it's gonna be a minute and a half, it'll be a minute and a half, and I like that. So
Yeah.
it's always a challenge trying to figure out how can we make this the best song possible.
So with all the, with you having like a wide variety, loving different types of music, whether it's punk, Motown, even a little pop. You think like all of your favorite music that really helps with contributing to like the experimental noise that or sound you make.
Mhm. Noise too.
Noise as well, yeah. Freudian slip. Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
What about that?
That's the question. Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. What
Should we
were you?
take
I heard
two?
noise, and then I was like, oh yeah. it
Well,
is
I guess
kinda
you've
noise.
already answered the question. Just like the various styles you guys have, even like the various tastes in music you have, like that really contributes to the music that you normally do experiment with.
Oh, for sure. I mean, personally, like I worked in a record store. I mean, I still kind of work at the record store. And just naturally, you hear, I mean, there's a jazz guy there, there's a classical guy there, there's a pop guy there, there's a, 80s rock guy, there's a 70s rock guy. And like they all have these eras that they kind of focus on. And so they'll play all these records. And we only listen to albums. We only put on like CDs or vinyl that we have in the store. So you just hear all these gems that I never would have discovered otherwise. So hearing all that, it's really influential on me because I hear all these sounds that I really like, and I'm like, ooh, I like the way he enunciated that word, or I like the way that guitar sounds. I love that guitar tone. Or, ooh, the drum sounds sick on this. That's a sick drum solo,
Yeah.
So you get all these ideas, and that's what I love about art and music. Like, you can never get to all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
No.
kind of what's so beautiful about it. It's like, oh, I'll never know all of this. And that's my favorite thing about songwriting and music and stuff.
Yeah, music is it's like endless FOMO. Like you'll never listen to everything.
Endless FOMO.
It's just like, yeah, and yeah, it's different genres and different music. It's little ingredients, and you make your own dish out of it. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. And I know you always try to, write. You're always working on music, which I think is really great. Do you think when you're doing that, like inspiration, that could just come anywhere for you? Like,
Oh,
you'll
for
just
sure.
You'll just take a walk in the park and you'll just get inspired just from
Yeah,
walking.
although me and Josh seem to we have patterns of ways that for every song it's fairly different of how the song will come together. But I feel like he's interesting because I've never met anybody else that, I'm sure it's a common thing because I've heard about it, but I've never met anybody else who will like get an idea in the shower.
Yeah.
And then come out of the shower and be like, hey, can you record the song that I just,
yeah,
because that's how a lot of the EP started.
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
Josh would come home from work or come out of the shower and be like, hey, I have a song, let's record it. I've been thinking about all the parts all day, and I'm like, how do you do that? And he'll lay down everything, the bass, the guitar, the drums, the main melody. Maybe we won't have lyrics, but we'll definitely have like a guiding melody, or we'll work on that together. So that's interesting for me about him.
I think like people do get ideas in the shower. It's just by the time the shower's done, the ideas wash away along with all
Right,
that stuff.
yeah.
So.
Like if a song comes to me like in like taking a hot, like relaxing shower, I just hear it in my brain like I'm listening to a song, and I hear everything, and then and so I'm like, okay, I'll repeat that, get out of the shower, and try. The hardest part for me is like I can hear the music in my head, and it's trying to have the patience to then sit down and then record everything. Okay, the drums sound like this. Okay, the bass sounds like this, and the guitar is doing this.
Yeah.
And then the vocals sound like this. Like I can hear the effect in the vocals, and it comes like when you're taking a shower or taking a long drive, or they're kicking us out. No. Or if you're like right when you're laying down, it's been a long day, and you're you're really close to falling asleep, and it just comes to you. So then I have to get up out of bed, get an acoustic, and play it and record it, so I don't forget it. That's the number one thing is if you have a song or an idea, write it down quick because it will go.
Phone voice notes are your best friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a whole Google Drive folder just full of like little voice notes that we'll
Yeah.
go through if we have a writer's block.
I think Lennon had a tape recorder on the side of his bed, so that if he woke up and had an idea, he would just record
That
and
makes
just sing
sense.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was this original.
Personally, for me, we do live in Austin, so herbal supplements do help with songwriting
Yeah.
occasionally. I'm not saying every time, but
Partake.
but yeah.
Okay, kind of funny because we're actually filming this on 420. So.
Oh yeah, we
Happy
are.
420, everybody.
um.
I'm blazed at.
And well, hold on, let me see. Is it like, do you like have a like? I guess like, do you have a variety of inspiration like for every song, or do you like to take a whole concept and then just like focus on that while you're writing the songs or anything? I guess like the short version is like, have you ever like done a concept album or anything like that? Or
Oh,
you
I
ever
would love
consider
to.
it?
I would love to. I think Mirrors Always Round is a concept EP.
Yeah, kind of.
Sometimes a song will start like that. But like with Mirrors Always Round, with the EP, all the songs sound different, but I think they all kind of hint at a similar theme, which is I'm scared of something, as we all are. We all have fear. But sometimes that fear is stemming from maybe inside myself. Maybe I have to look in the mirror and see the circle of patterns that are happening here.
Yeah.
And maybe kind of look inside myself. And maybe sometimes it is another person's fault. That's also explored on the EP. But yeah, I think that's why that line, the title of the EP actually stems from the song called Fear. So yeah, I think that's the concept for that EP.
Yeah.
And then the fact that all the songs sound the same, I think fear or dealing with fear manifests in different ways, and maybe that's why I thought as a concept it all sounded good, even though all the songs sounded different, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So then, like with Mirrors Always Round, at least you guys like to take a whole concept and then just focus on that when you're writing. Like, would you say that would be something you would do for like future albums? Or?
It would be an interesting thing to do. I think because me and Josh this was the first time we were writing songs together.
Mm-hmm.
We were just kind of like, okay, let's write songs.
Yeah.
Okay, can we write a song? Can we write 2 songs?
Yeah.
Can we write an EP's worth of songs? And then not really focusing on the whole entire concept and laying it out, but sort of just seeing what we've written, seeing how we mesh together, so we can put it on an EP and release it. Not specifically for that reason, but we were like we wanted to get our stuff out there so we could play shows, you know? So we're like, okay, well these songs make sense. I really like these songs that we've written and that we've played. So really the concept came from us just enjoying writing songs and playing music. But I would like to do maybe a legitimate concept album in the future where it's like, here, this, like a Rush 2112 or something.
Yeah. Or like Autobahn.
Autobahn.
Like everything sounds like being in a traffic jam, or it's like it's I don't know. I mean, that's Austin, right? Traffic jam.
That'll be the name of the next album, just Traffic Jam.
Yeah.
And it'll just be
It's just
So-
us.
it's
and
just a
jar
whole
jam.
experimental album of like just horns, and it's like 40 it's like 40,000 minutes long of just that's the concept.
I'm sure like probably like the snootiest like art person would say like this is a masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah, and I've met those guys working at the record store,
Really? Oh no.
the fish guys,
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about like your recording sessions. Is it like after you guys are done recording and you give everything a good listen, even if, well, probably not when you're done recording, but when you think, oh, let's hear everything back. Is it when you hear everything back, that's when you realize it's good? Or do you think even when you're still in the middle of recording, you're like, it could probably do a little better with everything? Or maybe let's focus more on the guitar or
That-
do more drumming.
that is it good thing kind of happens when we have to put things against each other. So sometimes we'll write a verse and then the next week we'll write a chorus, not knowing if they'll go together,
Yeah.
but just the need to songwrite. And then we'll say, oh, maybe this chorus will go against this verse. Let's see how that sounds. It's kind of how Love and War happened, and it just happened to work because that verse and chorus are very different. But no, usually that spark will happen when we're playing, because I know that's how Falling Through happened, right? We're like, oh, this riff is good.
Yeah. And I
Just
think that
the first time we played it.
I think that just like a lot of artists, like me personally, like I'm my own worst critic. So I think that listening back to
Yeah,
a
it's hard.
record. Yeah, it's like, oh, well, this could have changed. And I mean, it's probably not a good idea to go back and listen to like things that you've recorded before, because then you'll hear things that are different.
Things that you've released,
Yeah,
at least.
absolutely. And so, because you're like, oh, I play guitar a little different now, or I sing a little bit different, or I write
play
music
better
different.
now.
I play better. And
That's just the natural growth, which is
Yeah.
good, but you don't want to listen back to
no.
stuff that's already been released most of the time. Plus, it's just kind of narcissistic.
Could also be one of those things where like you hear like your own voice and you're like, oh.
Oh, that's
God,
exactly what it
Goodness.
is. It's the same. It's the
Yeah.
exact same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for people like us who, I mean, we're not trained singers, but we like to sing and we feel like we can vocalize, we
Yeah.
feel like we can communicate emotionally with how we sing.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily Whitney Houston or something.
I like to say that I'm not a vocalist. I just sing.
Oh.
Well, no, it's the other way, isn't it?
I don't know.
I'm not a singer. I'm just a vocalist.
Like I can't tell you
Ooh,
if
I
I'm
like
a
that.
tenor and an alto, but I can hit this high note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really knowing yourself and being
Knowing
really
your
honing in
range.
on what makes you and your strengths.
Yes.
Which
And-
is, yeah.
I know with the recording, you actually have visited a lot of different recording studios in Austin. Does that help out? Like, has that helped with how you record songs or with how you like to experiment? Because I know not every recording studio is the same. Or
Yeah. We haven't really visited a lot of different ones. We recorded Love and War and Leave Me Alone in our apartment. And we lived on Slaughter Lane, which is a actual road in Austin.
Yeah.
And I loved that
my
oh
goodness.
gosh.
Ah.
This is some sick lighting, actually. I love the name of that road so much that we just decided when we put out our music, we had to have like what's called an imprint. So it had to be like, on what label are you releasing this under? And it's like, well, it's just us, so let's name our label Slaughter Lane Records.
Wow.
So that's actually the studio is Slaughter Lane Studios. It's just our apartment. But it's nice recording at home because you can do it over again and not have to pay for the session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about recording in your home studio. But where we went to record the EP is Ice Cream Factory Studios, which is an amazing studio in Austin run by Matt Parmenter.
Yeah.
And he's the engineer and runs everything and produces. And that's cool because then I can just focus on my playing rather than, okay, let me hit record. Okay, let me see if Josh can hear himself in the monitor. Okay. Like, I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about playing guitar when I'm at an actual studio. I think
Yeah.
Josh feels the same way.
Absolutely. We just go in and someone else can do all that engineering and hard work, and we can just focus on what we're playing, which is really how it should be.
Yeah, because ultimately it
Um,
comes out better because you have somebody else, and you have an objective voice there,
No.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
In Matt,
absolutely.
who tells you, hey, that take was bad, or
Yeah.
Or
He'll
do that
say,
thing again that
"Hey,
you did.
I think we do a better take. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I got you.
So you
Um,
prefer that over like recording in your own apartment? Probably.
It has its advantages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if we could pay somebody to record us in our home, I think we would just rather do that because then we're not paying. Really, what adds up with finances is like paying for studio time because they have amazing equipment in there and stuff, but it's just like, oh god, this is like $1,000 a day or something.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Well, not a day. Well, like $1,000 for 2 days, maybe 2-3 days, depending on where you go. But yeah, there's a bunch of cool. Going to a new studio is like, okay, well, I like the vibe here, or I like the equipment they have at this place. And it's fun to go to new studios and get new sounds because you don't really want to sound the same, because that's just no fun.
Yeah.
I hope all that made sense.
No, I got you. Yeah. Do you think like your music sounds better when it's performed live or in a studio? Like would the songs on the EP sound better like just on the EP, like when you stream it on Apple or Spotify, or do you think it sounds best when it's like live?
It feels better live.
It feels better.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
I don't think it feels better or worse. I think they're just two different animals. Because there's a lot of stuff you can do in a studio to get a certain sound. You can stack things and that kind of thing. Put all these different keyboard sounds, which we like to do because we're experimental that way.
Yeah.
But live, it's more about like the energy that you're putting off on
Absolutely.
stage, right,
Yeah.
Josh?
and it's that energy kind of getting reverberated back
Yeah, from
as
the
well.
audience.
It's that static in the air that you don't necessarily get in the studio, but I think that I think they're two different things, and I don't know if I could choose.
Yeah.
I like the energy of playing live, and I think that a lot of these songs sound really good live, but I also see that in the studio some songs are better, or like you can kind of hear the different dynamics that are happening.
Yeah.
So
Definitely on the next recording that we do, I would like to just capture everything like at once, because usually the way we have done it before is we'll do the rhythm section and then me and Josh will finish guitars and overdubs and vocals another day. But I think what I'd like to do next is just capture everything live and just perfect it live,
absolutely.
and not have to worry about too many overdubs, which are like when you go in and play the guitar solo over everything after everything's been recorded, stuff like that. That's what an overdub is. But I'd like to just get everything there and like have the whole band vibe rather than being more experimental with it.
Yeah.
Would you guys ever do like a live album?
Oh yeah, I would love to do a live album. I really want to hone our skills first, just because we haven't been playing with this particular version of the band that long. So I'd want to like get used to the feel of the band, for lack of better words.
I sometimes prefer live albums. I know like one of my favorites is Nirvana's like MTV Unplugged in New York.
But see, that's a very different vibe.
Yeah.
It's
I was just listening to that album,
Really?
and like that, I love that album. Like even like as a teenager, because it still sounded like Nirvana, but it was stripped down. And this was like was it 93?
93.
It was like the end of 93 almost. And this was during a time where a lot of the people that were into like Guns N' Roses and all that were like, this band, they're just loud, it's just noise. So no one really thought that a grunge band could like be stripped down and sound really good, and they did. They were really good musicians.
And wasn't that released after he passed, right?
It was recorded right before and then released after. And what I think is great is that what people don't know is that his guitar, Kurt Cobain's guitar, was, because usually with like Unplugged, it's miking up an acoustic guitar, like it's very stripped down. I don't know if he was the first one, but they definitely had reservations that he was using a guitar, an acoustic guitar, that had a pickup like installed in it. So it was almost like, I'm still gonna play an electric guitar. It's gonna be plugged into an amp. Yeah. But so.
Which is very grunge.
Yeah.
Gives you a more grunge sound.
Definitely.
Less Bob Dylan, more.
Yeah. I mean, you use
Robert
guitar
Johnson.
pedals. It's like, yeah. Exactly.
That's probably the best kind of musicians to play live, are punk and grunge bands too. So, because I know Ramones, I always like the way they sound live too. Like,
oh yeah. Well, the thing about all that is it was about live performance. The record was kind of an afterthought, I feel like, right?
Yeah. One of my and I think that kind of like built my like songwriting, like wanting to, like my preference in songwriting, where it was like a really quick song. I had this album growing up, and it was of the Ramones, but it was like the best of. And it was one CD, but it had like 27 songs on it. I was like, how is that? Like, that is so many songs in one album.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
It was like the best of.
Oh, a best
and
of.
It's one CD, but it's got so many songs on it. And I'm like, this is great. And it makes me want to listen to it again. And all these songs, and even when they played live, it was way faster than that. So it's, I don't know, punk is it's not a way that you look, it's just it's a mindset. So.
And I know you guys have been promoting like Mayor's Always Round lately, and how has that been? Like, how has promoting Mayor's Always Round been going?
You know, we're still learning how to promote our music because it's hard now. Not that I'm whining about being an artist, but I mean, because we just want to play guitar and songwrite and be artists, right? And a lot of us have to compromise that, and handle social media and handle booking and all that other stuff, like management and stuff. And it's a balance, and we're still learning how to do that.
Absolutely. So it's like posting shows, posting new music that's out, but it's I guess we are still learning that.
Yeah, not just maintaining an audience, but also growing an audience.
Right. I think that's the biggest thing is, maintaining is great, but it's also branching out, and we want to tour, we want to travel more and meet new people and show people that, hey, this is our music.
Yeah. So. We're DIY right now, pretty much. Yeah. All I have to say is, if you'd like to manage us, please reach out to our Instagram or email.
And I know you are touring as well as part of the promotion and stuff. And I know you guys have a show here, like coming up in San Antonio, which is going to be awesome. So, and you haven't, even though you both are like from San Antonio, this is going to be your first time performing in San Antonio. Is that correct?
As of the Roses, yes.
As of the Roses? Oh, okay. So
it's been quite a while since any of us have played.
Okay.
Here.
So you have played for San Antonio, but not as this band.
Yeah, not with like our music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel like now you're going to perform as of the Roses in San Antonio? Like, are you excited for that?
Yeah, I'm excited. I know a lot of my friends and family are finally like, oh, you're playing a show here. Finally, we can go. Most of our shows are in Austin, so they're very excited.
Oh. They haven't gone to Austin to see you play? Or?
My mom, my dad, my immediate family.
Oh. Okay.
But, like I have a lot of friends here that haven't gotten to see us play yet. So.
Okay. And what's touring been like as well? Like, is this like your first time like touring, like to go perform, or?
Well, I don't know if I'd necessarily call it touring. We played, so during South by Southwest, we played a show in Houston, and then now we're playing this show in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So we're really just trying to branch out and kind of play a show in a different city every month, or when we can,
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I necessarily call it touring, but we're looking to play Dallas next. So when that happens, we'll be happy to.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, like I know, like with touring, the only thing I know from when I hear like musicians like touring, it makes it sound like it's just like a very long road trip and everything. So.
I mean, Josh has actually toured before, so
yeah, I've toured with other bands before, and yeah, it pretty much is. It's a road trip. It's nice. And I am very excited to tour with Of the Roses, and I think that out of anything, you sort of bond over long trips like that, because you get to know each other a little bit better, and that's why it's always a good idea to.
Yeah, about 5 of you cramped in a little bitty band.
Yeah. Oh. It's a good idea to find musicians that are not only good at what they are playing, but also that you can get along with.
Yeah,
good bonding.
That's what's difficult,
Yeah.
Because there are people you get along with, but maybe they're not very good, or they're not as interested in the music that you like.
Yeah.
And then you have the people that you don't get along with, but damn, they're good, you kind of have to compromise. Luckily, we haven't had that issue. The people in our band are very lovely and also very freaking good at their instruments. So
probably something like that, it would make or break you, like especially being cramped in a small car. If you guys end up doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
And like, of course, like you guys are going to be, like you did answer it a little bit by saying you're going to Dallas, but what else is next for you guys? What else are you hoping to do?
Well, me and Josh are certainly songwriting a lot. We're hoping to move into a band house. So like it'll be us and hopefully our drummer, still in the works, but that'll be fun. And we'll have a lot more time to write some stuff and hammer some stuff out,
That's really cool.
Absolutely. Just writing all the time. And I think if you want to, go to the next level, then that's kind of what you have to do, because it's that preparation, meeting that opportunity type of thing. So, playing or practicing like once a week, like that's not. I don't think that's like, you should be practicing every day, and that's kind of what we want to get to. So. that's next as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So writing more music. Gotcha.
Writing more music. Yeah, Josh actually just brought like a reggae song to me that we
Really?
recorded not too long ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a policey vibe. I'm sorry, did you want me to reveal that?
It's fine.
I'm excited
We're
about
still,
it.
yeah, we're still in the works with it.
It's still
but
being written, but it's got a reggae vibe.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Reggae
Excited.
meets indie rock,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
so we're excited.
It's like police, like like Roxanne. Like,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
that one kind of sounds a little reggae.
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, the police were very like dance music, kind of
They kind of
reggae.
were.
Yeah.
They were much more than a punk band at first, right?
Yeah.
Or later. You know more about the police than I do.
That's like reggae on cocaine. It's 1980s.
I mean,
you
you're
know?
not wrong.
Oh my goodness.
I love that. It's just so much energy and so much like tightness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it's so tight, and I've always loved that. And also like other bands that maybe influence them or around the same time, like the Specials. You know, like it's so good. Elvis Costello too. What was it? The Attraction or the Attractors? Who was that with?
Oh, Elvis Costello and the Attractions.
Yeah, yeah. During
Yeah, a
that
lot of those
time.
post-punk bands. That's kind of what post-punk was about. I don't know. I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a little bit. No, but post-punk, which was like the Police, Talking Heads. What did you just say? Oh, Elvis Costello. It was very much taking the ethos of punk and like inserting like the styles that they liked, which was like funk and reggae and a lot of world music. The Clash, who kind of invented that kind of
Yeah.
thing, were probably the first ones to do that, or at least the most influential.
I do hear a lot of people say that they get influenced by the Clash.
Oh yeah, yeah, we love the Clash.
Well, I thank you so much, guys, for stopping by and talking with me. I really love learning a little more about you. So,
Thank
and
you.
I'm really looking forward to hearing more of your music.
Thank
So,
you.
Yes. So, yes, please listen to Of the Roses. They are amazing. You guys have like an Instagram and stuff, right?
Yes, at Of the Roses Band
yes
on Instagram.
And your music's available to stream on Spotify.
It
And
should
Apple
be on all the
Music,
streaming platforms.
all the streaming platforms. Okay. Yes.
And you can buy on Bandcamp too if you feel so inclined.
It's feeling generous.
Yes, and if you're able to see them in San Antonio. You said you're also playing in Dallas. And
Hopefully, we're trying to get a show in Dallas. Hopefully in the
fingers
summer.
crossed. Okay.
So keep an eye out.
Yes, please keep an eye on them because
An
they're
ear
awesome.
out.
They're going places. Okay, so once again, I'm Terry. This has been Serenity, Josh, and Of the Roses, and thanks for stopping by this Culture Corner.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you.